Hello everyone, welcome back to the stream once again. And yeah, today we're just going to be working through this backlog that I have. I'm going to start with a bug that I've wanted to fix for a while. And then we're just going to work our way down this to-do list. I think the plan is that once this to-do list is cleared out, we could do another play test. So yeah, well, excuse me. I'm still getting over my sickness, as you could tell. We are a week and a half into this nonsense now. But anyway, we don't need to dwell on that. Before I get into it, I want to remind everyone that Alchemortis is available for wishlisting on Steam. So check out the Steam page, give it a wish list if you're interested. That would help me out a lot. You can also support me on Patreon. There are a couple of tiers here. If you purchase this top tier for at least 1 month, I will send you a Steam key for Alchemortis when the game launches. You also get your name in the in-game Alchemortis credits when it launches. And while you're subscribed at this tier, you get access to all of my Udemy courses. But of course, you could also purchase the Udemy courses individually if they're interested in you. A lot of times Udemy will run good deals on these, so check them out if you're interested. It's a great way to support me, and it's a great way to learn how to build games in the Godot engine. So definitely check that stuff out if you're interested, and you can also join the Discord server. Everything is linked below. Okay, so the bug that I want to fix is this one here, can unlock board cells when the inspector is open. So I'll show you what that bug looks like in just a second here, but let's say hello to everyone. Hello, Clickertail, welcome. Good to see you. Welcome back, I should say. Code Red, good to see you here. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. I'm sorry I don't know how to say your name. RecCeqB. What's up? Welcome. Good to see you. Oh, goodness. Good morning, Emerson. Just saw your Reddit post talking about the game similar to Gunforge. It was very nice. You're awesome. Thank you. Well, yeah, I appreciate that, but I think... yeah, I think, you know, people get so hung up on if their game is too similar to other games, and I think, I mean, generally speaking, the advice is like, who cares, you know? Like, you should do at least a little bit to set your game apart, but even just having a different art style is enough to do that. And, but I think it can be especially helpful to hear that from the developer of the game that you think you're copying. So, I don't know. If you watch the streams for a while, you know that I'm not very particular about, like, quote-unquote ideas being stolen, because everything is about the execution in game development. Like, you could have the greatest idea on paper, and if you can't execute it, then it doesn't matter. And there's always room to do the execution better. So, man. It's time for game dev once again. Yes, indeed. Welcome, Jackie Daytona. Welcome, welcome. I actually saw it first on Blue Sky. Stein posted it, and a lot of people were quoting. Yeah, I saw that. Somebody else sent that to me and was like, hey, did you see this? I'm not on Blue Sky, so I did not see it. But I know Stein. Stein is a very prolific Godot poster. Okay, let's take a look at what this... Oh my gosh, I was barely coughing at all this morning, and as soon as I start talking, here comes the coughing fits. It's okay, we're gonna try to work through it. So I have this unlock system here where you can click these to unlock them. These cells to unlock them. But when I bring up the card inspector, I could still unlock these things here. So I need to figure out why the heck that's happening. And I actually don't know. Board unlock cell. Play click once. Board unlock component. Shoot. Input. Should this be... I wonder if it's as simple as doing unhandled input here. Let's see. Demo when? We're getting close. Probably demo will be out next year. Early next year. But we'll see. I do want to participate in a Steam Next Fest as well. So I may hold off on the demo until such a time that there's a Next Fest close to the demo, but I don't know. We'll see. Okay, so that's not working either. So the hovering now is a problem. Hover locked cell. I might have to rethink how this unlocking cell works. Board unlock component. I might have to change how this works. So we have this board unlock component here. Okay, let me think about this. So I think I just need to probably construct a bunch of shoot. I think I need to construct a bunch of control nodes again to handle the mouse events. I wonder if... Yeah, the problem is coordinating these mouse events here. This process won't work. Oh boy, this is probably going to be a bigger thing than I thought it was going to be. I think the unhandled input works here for handling the board cell unlock, but the problem is the hover stuff. Yeah, this is... might be a little bit finicky, but I think this is going to be better if I just try to use control nodes for the mouse events. I think that'll just work better. So we have an unlock label, board unlock component. Let's change... Gee dang it. Gee dang it. Well, let's just try it. Node 2D, and then we'll add another node 2D under here. This will be the mouse areas. Okay, board unlock component. We're going to need to create these mouse areas. On card drag began. Set process input false. Clear hovered locked cell. Board.cs. Huh? How am I actually displaying the locked? Oh, I'm changing the tile map layer. Okay. Update tile map visuals. For each var cell and board inventory component, get locked grid cells. Right. Oh, February? Probably not February, no. We need another playtest before the demo, I think. Yeah, might need several rounds of playtesting before the demo. Because I really do want to take the time to just iron out all the problems with the game. Like, I want to get the game into a situation where there are no major... Well, I guess that's unrealistic, but... I just want to get the game loop and all the mechanics working very well together, very tightly together. Right now, we're not in that situation, so... We are going to keep doing rounds of playtests until players generally agree that everything is feeling really good. And then we could talk about or think about doing the demo and a next fest and all that stuff. Okay, so this is gonna be a nightmare. Oh gosh, what have I gotten myself into? I'm basically gonna have to rework all this. Okay. It is very windy here right now. All right, well, the first thing to do is we need to set up all the mouse areas. So let's do that. Private void update mouse areas. Okay, so we're going to create... board inventory component. No. Do I not have a reference to the board inventory component? I do, okay. Board inventory component, get locked grid cells. For each var cell in locked cells, we are going to do var reference rect is equal to new reference rect. We are going to do position is equal to tile map layer map to local cell. Size is going to be vector 2 I dot 1 times game constants dot tile size. Guess it doesn't need to be vector 2i. And then we're going to do editor only equals false. Okay, now we need a reference to these mouse areas here. Okay, mouse areas. Mouse areas dot add child reference rect. Okay, and now inside of here, we'll update the mouse areas. Okay, let's see what that does. Hello, Silvertone. Haven't been here in a bit, but got re-inspired and just submitted my game for the Secret Santa Jam 2025. Awesome. Thanks for the content and inadvertent motivation for myself. Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for being here. Welcome back to the stream. Hello, Chris. Good morning. Welcome. That is not correct. Also, it's going to be invisible because it's behind the tile map layer. I guess there's not really a way to fix that. Anyway. Map to local. I'm just going to do this. So I'm actually not going to be able to see these reference rect, which is a little bit unfortunate, but that's okay. Anyway. I suppose I can temporarily move this, but this order is actually important because if the cards are on the board, well, actually, maybe it doesn't matter. Yeah, maybe it doesn't matter. Okay. All right, so we've got all the mouse areas set up for all the locked cells. Now we got to rework everything to work with this. So update mouse areas. We're going to just do this one step at a time. This is going to have to update when the board grows in size. So that's going to need to change. And also when a cell gets unlocked, that is going to have to change as well. Okay, let's just start by doing this now. On card drag. I'm actually going to change this mouse areas here. I'm going to change this type to just a plain old container. Because then I can use the mouse behavior recursive. This is so confusing. Behavior recursive. Mouse behavior disabled. Prevents the control from receiving mouse input. Okay. Excuse me. Make that a control. All right. So in here, reference rect dot mouse entered plus equals hover locked cell reference rect dot mouse exited plus equals clear hovered locked cell. Okay. Emit signal locked cell hover exited. So we're going to need to do this. So let's change this. Private void on cell hovered. Private void on cell exited. We don't need this hovered locked cell, I don't think, anymore. Well, maybe I do. Okay. Just strip that down a little bit. Okay, so reference rect dot GUI input plus equals on GUI input. Private void on GUI input. If not evt.is action pressed, click left return. We are going to let's do this. Control reference rect. Okay. Reference rect dot accept event. Okay, so now in here, gonna get rid of all these things here. Put this in here. This clicked cell, I'm gonna change this. Click counter. Okay, and then in here, on cell exited, clear Hubbard lock cell, click counter equals 0. All right. I have no idea if this is going to work. Let's see. Hello, Monkey Software. Welcome back. Milk the S out of these playtests. You could easily do like 2 to 3 more per quarter before you get to do the demo. Yeah, I think that's the plan. We'll see. Went to play just now and realized the playtest is already over. Yeah. A new playtest will come soon enough. Hello, Snup Bill. Thank you for the IDR 10,000. Very much appreciate that. As always, it's very generous and always good to see you. Here's the yummers. We always love the yummers. Yummers. Dude, I just heard you mentioned in Jack Sather's last upload. Rather, Alchemortis was. Oh, that's awesome. I'm going to have to check that out. Your favorite niche e-celeb is becoming less and less niche by the day. No biggie. No biggie. I'll have to check that out. Thanks for letting me know. Good morning, Ninja Link. Hope you're feeling better. I'm feeling all right. I still got a lingering cough and some congestion, but it's getting better every day. I would say I'm at like 90% back to normal. Welcome, by the way, Gallet Dances. Can't wait for the next playtest so I can find more ways to break things. Yeah, I appreciate you finding interesting builds, Ninja Link, and also the detailed feedback that you leave. That's always appreciated. Okay. And we got a bunch of errors. Cool, cool, cool. Tight, tight, tight. Nullable object must have a value. Oh, I'm clearing the... Okay. We will get this working soon enough. Okay, so that works. Problem is those are not being cleared now after they get unlocked. So now what I need to do... So this play unlock cell. Yeah, so when I unlock a cell, I'm going to have to do this. Update mouse areas. So I'm going to need to probably keep track of this. So let's do private dictionary vector2i reference rect cell mouse areas here. Can make this read only, I suppose. All right. So in here, cell mouse areas cell is equal to reference rect. Cool. So when we update mouse areas, we're going to call this again. And what we're going to do is we're going to say if cell mouse areas contains key cell already, we're going to continue. So this is going to create any new cells, but then we're also going to iterate over the dictionary. So we're going to do var cells to remove is equal to what did I call it? Cell mouse areas dot keys to hash set except locked cells, yes, to list for each var cell in cells to remove. Then we are going to do cell mouse areas cell dot queue free. Cell mouse areas remove cell. So this update basically is going to do two things at once. It's going to create a new reference rect for any new locked areas, and it's also going to create it's also going to remove any reference rects that are still or that are not associated with any locked cells. So that should work. Let's see what happens. Some things must remain broken so as to give the player a fun experience. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I haven't heard the word tight used like that in eons. Yeah, my friends and I, we say that. We usually say cool, 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 tight, tight, tight. Just ridiculous nonsense. Okay, so this appears to be working. We have some errors though. Nullable object must have a value. On cell exited. Is this clear hovered locked cell being called in multiple places? It is. We're going to get rid of this. Maybe that's what's causing it? Let's see. Oh, that doesn't work. Okay. Let me try something. Update mouse areas. Actually, let's go back. Let's do this. Callable.from cell mouse areas cell dot mouse filter is equal to ignore cell mouse areas cell queue free. So I'm going to try to, I don't know if this will work, but I'm going to set the mouse filter to ignore, so hopefully that will trigger the mouse exit signal. I don't know if that will work, but it did not work. Alrighty. If hovered locked cell has value and hovered locked cell value equals cell, we're going to do, I'm just going to do I'm just going to call on cell exited there. Hopefully that works. Brooklyn 99. It was that popular saying in that show. Okay, so that works. Why is that not clearing and it still has this issue? What the heck? Ah, this is just annoying. Let's just do this. Clear Hubbard locked cell here. Yeah, cool. I gotcha. Still erroring. Why is that erroring? On cell exited. Oh, it is firing the on cell exited. Wait a minute. Why is that happening? Do I need this then? Why did I think I needed that? This is like whack-a-mole. This is a whack-a-mole situation, everybody. Why is that not clearing? Update tile map visuals. On grid changed. So the grid is being changed here. Emit signal locked cell. Hover exited. Oh. It's setting the tile map back to the lock here. So I don't want that to happen. Okay, well, we'll just put a little guard in there, I suppose. Bless you, thank you. Okay, that seems to be working. Oh, interesting. I think I have an issue here. No, maybe not. One. Yeah, here. Hover locked cell. Tile map layer set cell 1-1. Okay, so I actually need to make a change. This shouldn't be transparent. So let me go open file, grid. Is it this here? I think I need to do this. Okay, I think that works. Yeah. We're gonna get this working. We're gonna get this working. So far so good. Let me just see. I should actually see if this fixed the issue that I'm trying to fix here, which is that I can hover over the locked cells when the inspector is open. If I do this. Okay, yeah, so that's not cool. All right, this is a nightmare. Anyway, I think we're okay. So set process input. We don't need this anymore. So get rid of this set process input. Set process input. On card drag began. So yeah, let me check if dragging cards works. Actually, it's not going to work. I need to change something. Ecads. Set process false. We're going to do mouse areas dot behavior recursive is equal to disabled. Inherited. So this should disable all the mouse areas at once when a card drag starts, I think. So if I do this, yeah, so none of those mouse events are being handled now until I release. Cool. Okay. So that's good. I think I can do this. If is player board. I think we're almost there. Now what I need to do is test this with the grow board event. Grow board is 5, so let's do this. Debug, generate test map. Hello, Polaris. I hope you have a good day as well. And yeah, the work is going all right. We're making good progress, I think. And this is broken now. Object reference not set to instance of object. Oh, maybe I need to move this in here. Still not working? Okay, no errors now. Cool. Oh, why did I close that? Now we got to test it with the grow board event. So let me try this. If I do left. So yeah, those things did not update. I actually think this update mouse areas maybe what I do here is I get rid of this. Board inventory component dot grid changed plus equals on grid changed. Wonder if this will work. Update mouse areas. Now it's not playing the full effect. Okay, that's unfortunate, but let's see if this works. Okay, that appeared to work. Okay, but for some reason it's not playing the effect now after I moved this. I guess what I should do first is play this unlock and then unlock the cell. Okay, that seems to be working. Oops. Let's go down. Okay. Go to the right. Okay, that seems to be working. Okay, perfect. All right, now let's do this. Get rid of this editor only flag. And there we go. So I think it's working now. I think I've wrangled it properly. Cool. All right, I think we're good. I think it's good. Fix mouse events for board unlock. All right, we could call that one good now. Bang. Alrighty. So moving on, we got to figure out what else to do. So add more trigger node buffs, debuffs, add more obelisk powers. Let's add more negative alchemy abilities. That sounds good. Update map node tooltip to show effects more nicely. Add mini boss. Improvements to combat log, scale up resurrection costs after each use. Highlight necrosis text and ability descriptions. Okay. So let's add some more negative alchemy abilities to create a bigger library of negative alchemical outputs. Hello, who? Can you explain about resources and classes? I don't know how to use them, when to use them, and how to mix resources and classes. Thanks. Well, a class is like the fundamental building block of everything. Like a custom resource is a class. A class basically just defines the functionality for a particular element in the game. So like a node 2D is a class, but you can also write your own classes that extend node 2D. This is basic object-oriented stuff, but basically everything in Godot here is a class. So like this tile resource here, that's a class. But you can describe your own custom resources. So if I go to do my card definition resource, this is a class that I've defined, but it's also a resource, right? So classes are like the basic building blocks of object-oriented programming. I would recommend you do some more research on that because that's a little bit more in depth than I can explain here. But as far as like when to use resources, resources are good to use when you need to have some configurable data that you can define through the editor. I guess that's it. It's when you need configurable data that you can define through the editor. So I'm using custom resources for all my cards, and the custom resources here, they have like a description, they have a name, they have art, and then some configuration related to what tags they have and what dimensions they have, as well as critical chance, critical multiplier. This is basically just data that you'd want to configure ahead of time, and then you can load that resource in your code to drive whatever logic you need to drive. So again, it's not, I don't know if that's super helpful, but it's hard to go over all the ins and outs of classes and resources right now on stream, but hopefully that gets you started. Look up polymorphism. Yeah, polymorphism is a good thing to know. So I don't know if that helps, but hopefully it's at least a little bit helpful. Okay, I'm going to take a quick 3-minute break, and when we come back, let's brainstorm some more negative alchemy abilities to add to the game. So give me just 3 minutes, I'll be right back, and we will do that. All right, I'm back. All right. Add more negative alchemy abilities. Let's do that. So does anyone have any ideas for negative alchemy abilities? So to refresh, the alchemy system will add negative abilities to the outputs based on the size of the card. And right now, the list of abilities is just contained in here somewhere. Here, configure negative abilities. So we've got a self-damage ability, self-turn cooldown increase, self-poison, self-bleed, applying healing to the enemy, applying holy to the enemy. So an obvious one here would be to do like shielding the enemy. So we could do var enemy shield is equal to ability builder dot shield target self equals true. How do I actually do this? Target self. Suppose I should put a target self in here. This dot target self equals target self. So I'm going to add an enemy shield ability. Target board is equal to target self. Source board, target board. Cool. And then in here, in this ability builder, we'll do bool target self equals true. Pass in the target self there. Enemy shield 5. Or I'm going to do 8, I mean. Cool. And then in here, not target self. To enemy. Okay. So that works. What other negative abilities can we do? What other negative abilities can we do? Increased turn cooldown, I have that. Reduced crit multiplier, 10% chance for the card to fail to execute. Give echo to a random enemy minion card. That's a good one. We could have added mischance. Var self mischance is equal to new composed ability. Let's go ahead and create that. That's a good idea. New query target provider dot query options dot query directions is equal to board inventory component dot query directions dot entire board. Query target provider dot query options dot self query only equals true. Var buff applicator is equal to new buff applicator. Query target provider, and then the buff factory is new mischance debuff 1. Let's do 0.2. Do I need to scale this as well? Probably should. So we got the query target provider, buff applicator, make float additive scalar 0.05, const float base mischance is equal to 0.2. Put the mischance in there. Base mischance. Mischance is equal to scalar that. Okay. Apply description utils.float 2% mischance blind to self. Okay, that should work. So we'll add the self mischance here. Let's break this up. Okay. Reduced crit multiplier, 10% chance for the card to fail to execute. Give echo to a random enemy minion card. Oh, or enemy card, I mean. That's a good one. Let's do that. Echo to enemy. We're just writing up some abilities. Excuse me. Reduce the fire, poison, bleed stacks on the enemy. 25% chance the card paralyzes itself or another allied card upon execution. Prevents ability from being projected on it. Yeah, those are all good ideas. Let's go ahead and build some of those. Let's go ahead and build some of those. Oh my gosh. Can't wait for the coughing to be done. All right. I'm basically just going to copy this. Actually, do I need to do this? Projectability, composability, ability builder dot echo. Yeah, I could do this. So we don't need this. Project echo to enemy. Oh, the problem is that I probably need to change this actually. Okay, this is going to be a little bit painful, but I'm going to change this to be that. That is going to break a bunch of things, but we'll be able to fix it. It's all right. Anyway, so this is a query target provider now, so I can do config.final to take equals 1, config.final order by random equals true, config.query options.query directions is equal to entire board, query options dot query source board is equal to false, config.query options.query target board equals true. I think that should work. Shoot. Maybe I can't do this because this description is going to be all messed up. Ah, shoot. Well, I'm trying to think if I want to These descriptions are the problem because I keep having like slightly different descriptions here. Well, I'll see if I can make it work. I don't know if I'm going to be able to, but we'll see. I think this will work. It's just a matter of getting that description to work correctly. All right, well, let's fix the errors that have come up now from changing that. Oh gosh, now I have to change all these. Chance to skip an adjacent card's turn. Oh, interesting. Yeah, that's a good one. This shouldn't actually be too bad to fix. Oops, not conif, config. This is one of the reasons to use C#, by the way, is that you can change a method signature, and then the compiler will tell you everywhere that you need to change. Makes refactoring. Well, that's one thing I like about C# is that you get a lot of confidence when you're refactoring, because you could just break something and then go ahead and fix all the places where the code tells you that it needs to be fixed. And Copilot is actually very useful for refactoring too. It's saving me a bunch of time. Okay, so we've fixed all those issues. Now what I need to do is, let's just stage all those. Alchemy Manager, I'm going to get rid of all of these. We're just going to do the project echo to enemy. And then let's do this. Use F2 on in VS Code on an identifier. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so alchemy. We're just going to merge those in. Projects to enemy cards echo. So that's correct. I mean, it's, well, the ability is working, but I need to change the description now. So the tricky thing is that this, let's get rid of all this stuff here. So we need to go into the query target provider here. I'm going to create a new string method. Public string to query string. And we're going to return query options to query string. But now I got to think about this. Am I using this custom filter description anywhere? Oh, I am. So I think what I need to do is I need to say if final to take is greater than -1, take string is equal to string.empty. What does this say? Projects to enemy cards. This is messy. Let's do int card limit. I don't really like this. So this would be like one. Trying to think of what this string would look like if this had everything. So it'd be like one random adjacent enemy minion card. Card limit greater than 0. Description utils dot pluralize card limit. Let's do less than 0 here. Card string. Okay, so I think that handles that. Card limit string is equal to card limit greater than 0. Card limit dot toString. So let's do card limit string. This is such a mess. This would have to be with a space behind it. So we got the card limit string, and then we need a random. So this would be one adjacent. So this would be, I would have to probably put the random in here. So one random adjacent enemy minion card. Okay, maybe that'll work. So let's do the random string. I have no idea if this is going to work, but we're going to try it. So we'll do final to take, final order by random. Okay, and then in the ability builder here, we're going to do query target provider to query string. All right, let's see what happens. Hi, it's weird seeing you live because I'm used to 2x speed voice from Udemy. Oh yeah, Well, I don't speak in 2x speed, so you're gonna have to deal with the snail's pace here. Also, I've learned the importance of passing models instead of each parameter, because then you can update the model to add a field or update the method to not use a field. Nothing needs to update. Yeah, I do that a lot too. I tend not to do it until I have like more than 2 arguments. But yeah, passing around a model is a very, very nice way of doing things. I do that with my context objects quite a lot. Because then, yeah, you could just add more data to the model and just use that new data wherever you need to instead of updating the code everywhere. It's very nice, very nice. Alrighty, let's see what happens. Kerblam. Projects to 1 random enemy card, echo. Projects to 1 random enemy card, echo. Projects to 1 random enemy card, echo. Awesome. Now let's see if this works. There's actually quite a stacked morning star there. Oh, I can't even test it because I still have this generate test map on. 1 second per second, yes. We are in lockstep with reality. Okay, let's see if this works. So this has 2 echoes on it now, and this one has 1 echo. Okay, that works. I still won though, but that's great. Okay, cool. Let's put all these other ones back before I forget. Alrighty. Add new negative alchemy outputs. Cool. Let's do some more. 25% chance the card paralyzes itself or another allied card upon execution. I'll do one better. Let's make it really obnoxious. We're going to do exhaust. New composed ability. Exhaust self. Should probably move these negative abilities somewhere else, but... var random value provider. New random chance provider. Yeah. Var conditional. Let's do var exhaust applicator is equal to new buff applicator, query target provider, new exhausted debuff. Okay. Var conditional exhaust is equal to new conditional ability decorator. Exhaust applicator. Condition is random chance provider dot get value is less than or equal to 0.1. Okay. So now I think what I could do is I can put the query target provider in there, the random chance provider, and then the conditional exhaust. We probably want to change this as well. Const float base chance is equal to 0.1f. Var current chance is equal to base chance. Let's do current chance. Make float additive scalar. Current chance is equal to scalar base chance. Okay. Chance to exhaust self. Okay. Probably do want to test this one as well. I just realized this one doesn't scale at all. Oh, no, it does. Okay. It's fine. See if exhaust self works. Half hour away from going home for the holidays, 18 consecutive work-free days. Ooh, nice. Yeah, I always like doing that at the end of the year when I was working full-time, is just like, because, you know, you have a couple days off for Christmas and then you have a couple days off for New Year's. And so you could just use like 5 PTO days or whatever to create like 2 weeks of uninterrupted time off. It was always my favorite thing to do. At one of my jobs, I had 6 weeks of PTO? No, I think it was 4 weeks of PTO. So I just always had all this time off to use. Sometimes I would just take random Fridays off to give myself 3-day weekends. Because there's, in the US at least, there's like a long stretch from like Memorial Day. Or no, I think it's after the 4th of July. There's like several months with no day off. I think I might change how the legendary works. I'm thinking maybe if there's a legendary output of alchemy, there should just be no other options. Like you should just be presented with just a legendary. And that would give me an opportunity to do like a better legendary creation animation and everything too. Because I do want to make like the legendary feel very impactful. I don't know if there's a reason why you'd ever want to take a lesser version. Like, you'd always just want the legendary one, so... I guess it's possible that there could be multiple legendary outputs, but... I exhausted myself. Look at that. The Morning Star exhausted itself. Nice. That works great. Okay. I thought about mentioning that, but messing with other cards in your field felt more disruptive. Yeah. For me, there's 5 hours left and no work till next year. Awesome. 5 is the exact number of days for my PTO needed for 18 days this year. Not every year lands this well, sadly. Yeah, that's true. You've skipped on legendaries. What happens there when Christmas week starts? What happens where? Neozoid. Sorry to bother, but in Godot for a player, use player class, a player data resource, or just components. What to store in each life and resource or component. What's the player class for exactly? Your player class is going to be the script, essentially, that has all the logic for controlling your player. So it depends on what kind of game you're making, but typically a player class will include like the movement code. So if you imagine a 2D platformer, for instance, the player class would have all of the input handling and all of the code for driving or moving the player around the screen based on the inputs and jumping and gravity and all that stuff. In terms of the player health, I mean, you can use components. I like to use a health component on my player, and then the health component would have its own class, which would just manage a health value. But I mean, it sounds like it might be too complicated for you to do components as it is. So I would kind of caution against doing that. If you're not familiar with how to build games, generally speaking, like components is one of those things where once you already know roughly how to build a game, then you can really see the value of components. But if you're not quite there yet, then I think components might just be more confusing than anything. So you could even keep like your health value inside of your main player class as well, alongside like all the movement code and whatnot. And then in terms of like the resources, I think I would caution you against trying to use resources for everything. Like when I started with Godot, I basically didn't use custom resources for anything, and you could totally get away with doing that. The problem with custom resources, I think people it's like a hammer and nail problem. People will learn about custom resources and then they try to find any excuse to use them. And it's like, I think that there's very good use cases for custom resources, but I think that they're not like absolutely necessary. Like just because you have a health value that you want to be configurable doesn't mean it needs to go in a resource. You could just use an exported variable on your player class so that you could change the health if you need to. The only case where I would, or not the only case, but one case where I would use a custom resource for like defining like the health values and stuff is if I had a very generic like entity system where I could configure all these different enemy types and all these player types. And then it might make sense to have a custom resource so I could define the starting stats for each of those different entity types. But if you just got one player in your game, there's not really a good reason to make the player stats a resource. You could just put the player stats in the class itself. Like resources are for when you need like some configurability and some flexibility. When you need like a data-driven approach to some system in your game. But if you just have one thing, one player, then I don't think using resources is necessarily that useful. Anyway, any more Udemy courses in the works? Not at the moment, no. My main focus right now is going to be getting Alka Mortis out, and then we'll see how that goes. I mean, I'm hoping that I never have to do a Udemy course again, which I know might disappoint some people, but Udemy courses, they were fun to make, but they were mostly being made as a way to supplement my income while I try this game dev stuff. And the ideal scenario is that Alka Mortis or a future game of mine sells well enough where I don't need that supplemental income anymore. So I know that's kind of a disappointing answer, but I don't want to be a full-time Udemy course instructor. That was just like a means to an end. I heard that Coursera bought Udemy. Yeah, I heard that too. I tried to read their press releases and it was just a bunch of corporate nonsense, so I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's happening. I hope they don't kick a bunch of instructors off of Udemy. That would suck. For a lot of guns or enemies, waves, for example, custom resources would be a good option. Yeah, I think if you had a lot of different gun types that all had different stats, you could definitely make use of some custom resources for that. But yeah, it's highly context dependent, you know. It's hard to say for sure that a custom resource would be good in your situation or not. But yeah, I think the main point is just try not to overcomplicate things just yet, especially if it sounds like you're kind of new to game development. Try to just do things in as simple and as direct a way as possible first, and then as you gain experience, you'll be able to see the value of using a custom resource. You're welcome. You are welcome. You are really good. You really are good at explaining your thoughts and concepts in general, though. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah. I know that people like the courses, for sure. I'm never going to stop making tutorial content and whatnot, but a course is a massive amount of effort. I've talked about this before, but I think the C# course is like 24 hours of video content. So, you know, that is like, so there's more effort than that. So it's more than 24 hours of effort to record because I have to, you know, get all the recording set up. I got to get my settings done. I got to set up the editor so that it's brand new and fresh and that it doesn't, you know, have any of my personal settings because that would confuse people. And then I have to think about what the next lesson should cover and like what's the one thing the lesson should cover, and then I have to record that, and sometimes the recording doesn't go well. I didn't explain myself well, or there was a technical issue, and so I have to re-record the lesson. Sometimes I make a mistake in the middle of a lesson, and so I have to like edit that part out. And then of course the whole editing process as well. I have to watch back every single minute that I recorded to make sure that the continuity works well and that the viewer experience is good. And so, you know, we're talking many, many, many hours, probably, I would say probably well over 100 hours to create a course of that length. And it's a lot of effort. So, a less common skill than people give credit for. Yeah, talking for 20 hours straight. Yeah, and it's not just that it's a lot of time too, it's like super tedious as well. Like the process of editing the lessons so that they could be uploaded is like the most tedious, mind-numbing thing of all time. It's very, very not fun. Any code reviews in the works or just full throttle game dev? Yep, just full throttle game dev. I need to make some more YouTube videos, but I might just focus on making some like micro tutorial shorts or something. Today I saw some people selling a $1,000 course called How to Vibe Code Like a Pro. Oh my gosh. That's funny. Gosh, yeah, don't spend $1,000 on a course. I think there are very few courses that are worth even like several $100s. Like for several $100s, you could take an actual college course for several weeks. All right, so let's see. What else do we need to do? I guess we'll add some more negative alchemy abilities here. Anyone else got any ideas for negative alchemy abilities that we could add? Trying to think what else I have here. Excuse me. Any other ideas for abilities? Prevent abilities from being projected onto the card. Yeah, that's an interesting one. The reason I don't want to do that one necessarily is because... Hold on a second. The reason that I don't want to do that one necessarily is because well, I guess I could do that, but that one doesn't feel like a very impactful negative because it's very situational. I'm trying to make all these negative abilities just like generally negative, because if it's a very situational negative ability, then there's a good chance that it won't be that much of a negative, just generally speaking. Can you eject cards from the board? I could. I think that is functionally accomplished with paralysis or exhaust. That doesn't eject the card from the board, but it locks the card down so it can't do anything anymore. So I think that's functionally the same. But if you have an idea for like how ejection would differ from that, then I'm open to hearing it. Change crit values. Yeah, we could do that. What about a negative that exhausts the card if it's placed on an edge? Oh, that's an interesting one. Yes, we could have like alchemy abilities based on positioning of the card. Yeah, that would be an interesting one. Instead of exhaust, I'll use paralysis. Let's do that one and then maybe change crit values as well. Paralyze self on edge of board. New composed ability. Let's see what Copilot wants to do here. Query directions, edges, self query only. We're going to do a paralysis. Paralysis debuff. Constant base duration. Let's go to 4. Current duration is equal to 5, or no, base duration. Okay. And then this is scaling func, tier, make additive scalar 1. There we go. Paralyze self if on the edge of the board. Paralyze self on edge of board. Let's see if that works. Guess it forces the player to scramble to have to reassemble the board so that they are active in combat. Oh yeah, but the player board, the boards are not editable while combat is going anyway. So that would be a big change for the game if I were to go that direction. And that's not necessarily something that I want to do either. I don't know if auto battlers you're typically allowed to change things while the combat is playing out. But as a beginner, I'll start with classic opponents. I think that's the best for my roguelike game for now. Thank you so much for your help, but good luck with your game. That's awesome. Congrats. Thank you, Who. Yeah, I'm happy to help. Glad to have helped, for sure. If I don't want negative ability, better start doing some Tetris. That would be more decision making. I like that. Yeah, let's take a look. Let's see what we can get going here. Paralyze self. Oh, I need to have the duration. If on the edge of the board. Let's see if that works. Paralyze self for current duration turns if on the edge of board. Skip that. Even a super negative for an otherwise very powerful card to destroy a card from either the current board or the stock when the combat is entered. Yeah, that would be an interesting one, like automatically sell the card or something. Let's see if this works. It did work. Nice. So now what I want to do is I want to try not having it on the edge of the board. And see if it works now. Sweet. All right, looks like we're in business here. Destroy, it's like a sacrificial right, in other words, for the card to function. So wait, even a super negative for otherwise very powerful card to destroy a card from either the current board or the stock when the combat is entered. Yeah. That is an interesting idea. I almost want to make that, if I do add that, I almost want to make it like part of a card's ability. So the idea that a card could just consume an adjacent card, permanently destroy it, but then permanently gain some power based on that. I think that could work, right? You'd have to pick the balance of where it's destroying from. Yeah. I think that's an interesting idea. I just think maybe I would make that part of an actual card's design consume/destroy a card and gain permanent power. Yeah, it's a good idea. That seemed not to be working. Oh, it is working. It's just in the wrong order. Oops. Okay. Anyway. Similarly, like Yojimbo from Final Fantasy X, a card that eats your currency to attack. That would be a good one, yeah. Are negative abilities always listed at the bottom? Yes, they are, yeah. They are always listed at the bottom. Okay. Give me 1 second here. Let's see how many we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We got 11 different abilities. Definitely room to do more. Definitely room to do more. So what other abilities should we do? I think change crit multiplier was one. I actually don't know how to do that. I could just make the critical chance buff. Well, let me think. Probably actually want this to be like a non-combat ability. So this might actually take some more effort, but let me write this down. Make non-combat ability to reduce crit chance by, let's just do X%. So we'll do that. Okay, let me think. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm getting very hungry, so I think it's a good place to stop for lunch. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. But I think we got a lot done today, that's good. So yeah, the plan again is just to work through this to-do list here. Probably have to do several rounds of my own personal play testing to make it feel really good. And then we can think about doing another, play test. So that's going to be it for the stream today. Thank you everyone for watching. Thank you for being here. I got Alchemortis available on Steam, so if you want, please consider wishlisting it. I would appreciate that. And yeah, I'll be, what is today? Is it Friday? I'll be streaming again tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern, so I hope to see you there. And I hope you all have a great rest of your day. And yeah, I'll talk to you all later. Hope to see you in the Discord. Check out the links in the description below if you want to join the Discord and also support my work. And yeah, see you tomorrow. Have a good day and bye-bye.